This is the Lab 3 demo. For this lab, you'll just need to use StatCrunch to complete problem 6.2, number 37, as stated in the textbook. Just go ahead and do the problems as requested there. We'll need to open the textbook first. So if you don't have the e-text open, you'll go to Course Home, click on Chapter Contents. Once you open the textbook by any of these links here, you can just type in page 340 here and go directly to the right page. Number 37 is given here, and you'll see number 38 is very similar. I'll go ahead and do these problems. The next thing we need to do is open StatCrunch. Now we don't have a StatCrunch link here, so we need to go back to My Lab and go to Main Menu, StatCrunch. And we'll just open the StatCrunch website. We'll need to click on Type or Paste Data into a blank data table. And for this problem, the only thing we'll be using is the Stat calculators. So click Stat, Calculators, and then Binomial is what we're using here. Later on, we'll also use the normal calculator. For today, just Binomial. So click on that, and here we have our result, or our window. Now, you'll be using the same window to get all of your results. Each time you get one of your answers, click Save and give your picture a title. And you can, of course, save the same window repeatedly for different results, and they will save separately. Now, of course, just to give you an idea of navigation, we have N, the sample size, and P, the probability of success here for our binomial experiment. We also have our X value, and we're going to calculate the probability that the value is either less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, strictly less than, strictly greater than, or exactly equal to a stated value. Now here we have, of course, the given probability once we do that. If we need to calculate the probability that a value is between an upper and lower bound, we would click Between, and of course we're allowed to specify that. This probability is forced to be inclusive, so be certain that the values that you type in are selected with that assumption in mind. We'll start with the standard calculator. Now in the Pearson eText, what we see first is that our sample size is 20 and our probability of success is 5%. So we'll go to StatCrunch, N equals 20. Probability of success is 5%, which is 0.05, not 0.5. Now, our first problem here, part A, find the probability that exactly 3 experienced insomnia as a side effect. So we want the probability that X is exactly equal to 3. Compute. You can also just hit enter if you'd like. Here we have the probability of 0.0595, etc. So that would be our probability, and see answer to the problem. Now, the next problem here in the e-text, we see part B, find the probability that 3 or fewer experienced insomnia. So this time, 3 or fewer, that would be less than or equal to 3, and we see the probability of 0.98, etc. Part C, find the probability that between 1 and 4 patients inclusive experienced insomnia. So between 1 and 4, we're going to use between 1 and 4. And inclusive is stated in the problem, which is consistent with this calculator, and compute. And here would be our probability. Now, keep in mind, every time you get one of these probability results, options, save, and you'll need to title it accordingly. And that should be about it for this particular lab. Now, one other thing to note here, this is part D. Would it be unusual to find 4 or more patients who experienced insomnia as a side effect? Now, keep in mind, unusual events have a probability of less than 0.05 or less than less than 5%. So what you're looking for here is a probability of less than 5% or less than 0.05. So when you calculate this, you need to answer the question of whether this would be an unusual event and explain your answer. Now in number 37, you also have to explain why this is a binomial experiment. The requirements for a binomial experiment are listed in this section. You need to look at those requirements, and then you need to explain why this particular problem fits those requirements. So that would be for part A. So you will have 4 results included in your lab report. You'll also have some written answers for parts A and E. And then, now these do say interpret the probability. So for B, C, and D, you would need to state your answer in a complete sentence, but basically you're just stating the probability in a complete sentence to interpret what it means. And that would be about it. What you'll need to do then is just go to your reports, create your lab report, make sure you share the report, save it, and submit the URL through Canvas. If you have any problems doing that, you can email me. There's also a video, remember, in the modules on how to create and submit your lab report.